Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lone Star podcast, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the recent news that the UK government, headed up by Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, the UK Labour government, has decided to nationalise Southern Western Railway, and why this could potentially be the first step forward in revolutionising and really not maybe revolutionising, but sorting out the UK's transport infrastructure. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to get straight into it. This is going to be similar to my videos about crypto and the economy. One of my more thought out, scripted, long vids. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get straight into it. So off rip, this is the current situation that many UK residents are facing when they want to use transport. You know, nowadays you're paying more for a train ticket than a flight to Barcelona, and you end up standing up for an hour because peak capacity means profit, not comfort for the users. Unfortunately, this isn't a dystopian future. This is how Southern Western Rail used to look when it was privatised. But recently, something radical happened. The UK government has nationalised it, not as a bailout and not as nostalgia, but in reality because transport is the oxygen for an economy. And it feels like for a long time now, the UK has been suffocating. So now we're going to explore in this video why this move isn't just necessary, but maybe it's the first crack in a coffin, showing that maybe this previous ideology forced upon us by previous governments, maybe has been failing us. So let's rewind. In 1993, Margaret Thatcher's government shattered British Rail into 100 little pieces. And the promise was competition lowers fares and innovation improves service. But in reality, what actually happened? Fares skyrocketed 200% above inflation since privatisation. £3.5 billion in taxpayer subsidies flowed to operators like Southern Western Rail's parent company, while they paid shareholders £500 million. In addition, service collapsed. 25% of South Western Rail trains ran late before 2024. And why? All because privatisation rewards extraction, not investment. When your goal is to improve quarterly profit returns, you end up slashing staff, deferring track maintenance, and price gouging commuters. Is this business, or it really feels like organised theft? Now, I know what you're thinking. Nationalisation, that means dirty trains, surely staff, and Soviet breadlines. But you're wrong. This isn't about resurrecting British Rail's ghost. This really should be about learning from its mistakes. This new model should include no profit motive, every penny reinvested, and no dividends bleeding the system dry. It should also include integrated planning, trains, bikes, buses, coordinated as one ecosystem rather than competing products. And also democratic accountability. South Western Rail now answers to Parliament, not hedge funds in America. And we look at other places in the world, this already works. France's state-run SNCF moves 5 million transporters per day with 95% on-time rates. And Japan's JR East profits while charging fares 30% lower than the UK. Nationalism isn't socialism. Nationalisation is understanding and making the most of the UK's infrastructure and basically making what is already a convoluted and inefficient system, getting it back to basics and getting it working right. But in my opinion, here's the real magic. Transport isn't a cost, it's the greatest economic multiplier ever invented. When South Western Rail runs cheap, frequent and reliable trains, workers are able to reach jobs maybe 30, 40, 50 miles away. This expands talent pools. Businesses ship goods faster. And towns like Southampton and Portsmouth are revived. No more left behind Britain. Privatisation blinded us to this truth. They saw railways as a retail product, not as the central nervous system of a national economy. And the alternative to nationalisation is this: Amazon building private roads for its trucks, and tech giants funding micro-transit for coders. The rich retreat to helicopters while the rest of us fight for bus scraps. Nationalisation stops this fracture, and it says your ability to exist shouldn't be a shareholder commodity. So many people say privatisation worships efficiency. But in real terms, when this is translated, it means squeeze humans until they break. Under Southwestern Rail's private owners, staff morale cratered. 40% of conductors reported abuse from passengers being stressed by delays. Safety was eroded, near misses rose 15% after maintenance cuts. And communities end up being starved. Unprofitable routes are axed, and this ends up isolating villages like Cornwall. Now, the difference with nationalisation means staff are custodians and not costs. Pay rises are tied to service quality, not tied to stock prices. And access is prioritised over profit. Night buses for nurses and rural lines for pensioners, etc. Then you've got the keyword, the buzzwords that love to be flying about. There's the climate justice, climate change, net zero. Electrified fleets could cut emissions by 100% by 2035. Now, this is something that no private firm would commit to funding. And this is what happens when you run transport for humans and you don't run it for spreadsheets. Now, I'm hoping Southwestern Rail is just the start. And Labour's move proves public ownership isn't radical, it's repair. And no doubt this will have a ripple effect in a number of different UK industries. Of course, firstly being energy. If railways can escape profit extraction, why can't our water companies? Why can't our power grids? Why can't our broadband companies? Of course, housing. I would love to see a rise in the amount of state-built homes to try and help actually solve this UK housing crisis. And also wages. Reliable transport means no more £12 Uber rides after missed trains. But the challenges are as follows. Media will scream taxpayer burden, and the Tories will yell red tape. And this is about rewriting a core truth. Some things are too vital to be treated as business, and like this, they must be stewarded. So, will nationalised Southwestern Rail be perfect? No. Trains are going to break, signals are going to glitch, but now we own the problem. And we own the solution. This isn't just nostalgia. It's a down payment on a future where a student can afford to intern in London. A factory isn't stranded by 11 a.m. freight delays, and your commute doesn't fund a CEO's third yacht. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Like I said, it was a slightly different topic, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was something different from me, and I hope you learned something. I hope it was interesting. And I'd be curious to know what you guys think of the future of Southwestern Rail now that it's been nationalised by the UK government. Do you think they'll run it successfully? Do you think more trains will run on time? And do you think this will be the first or the start of the UK nationalising more industries across the country? Be super curious to know what you guys think. And yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag. And I'm out. Peace.